welcome to the conference room of the National Coalition for Men in this beautiful downtown San Diego location. I'm sure our weather's better than yours wherever you're at. What we want to talk today a little bit about was an upcoming Father's Day event, which will be held on June 18th. Nobody can see that, but that's what it says. June 18th between 8 a.m. and 10 a.m. on Coronado Island, which is part of San Diego. Anybody in the local area, we encourage you to come out. We're hoping to get as many people as we possibly can. There's so few Father's Day events throughout the United States, that we hope that this will be the beginning of something great, and that we can do this each and every year. It's really not for the National Coalition for Men. We're just one of the sponsors. It's for an organization called the San Diego Children's Coalition, and the people you see on my left, your right, are with the Children's Coalition. I'm going to turn it over to them here in a minute or two. They've been putting in an awful lot of work trying to get this festival, this walkathon going. There's also a festival associated with it. NCFM is not associated with the festival. We're associated with the walkathon. But we're hoping to get a lot of fathers, mothers, children's families out there to have a great day. It's a beautiful place. That said, I'm going to turn this over to Jeff Perwin, who you're the president of the San Diego Children's
Executive Director.
Executive Director, and he can explain a little bit about Children's Coalition.
Now, let me give you a little bit of background. In the several years ago, I received a little card in the mail to volunteer in the community, and I checked that box, which diverted my life to a different career path. My background is business, engineering, and real estate. Got involved with moving into volunteering and helping with the community. I was president of the Kearney Mesa Kiwanis Club last year, and the problem that we faced was when I was trying to find speakers to come in and find charities to come in and speak at our luncheon, it was very difficult to find them. Trying to search for them on Google, there was a lack of information and an ability to find them. The Kiwanis organization supports charities, and if I don't know who those charities are, it's hard for me to support them. So we realized with other partners, for example, the Lions Clubs and the rest, I didn't know what they were doing in my community. I don't know what other Kiwanis clubs were doing. And so there was a need to get better organized in the county of San Diego to help children's charities and children's organizations. So originally, as a partnership between the Lions Clubs and the Kiwanis Clubs, we started doing a mixer. And these mixers, we were inviting charities to come out so that we can get to know them and work together to help them with their events. So we realized that this was beyond the capabilities of just being a side venture of the Lions and Kiwanis, and realized that we should launch a new organization, and we called it the San Diego Children's Coalition. It's evolving slowly into becoming the Chamber of Commerce for all children's charities and children's organizations. So we've been moving ahead. We've gone into momentum phase right now, and we're getting excited about it. We're reaching out to hundreds of charities. We'll be working with them to help them with their events, getting their word out, recruiting volunteers and the like. Recently we were asked as a charity to come on board with family events. We'll be working on Children's Day, the launch of Children's Day next year. It will be the last Saturday in April in 2012, which is an exciting event, which will create a Children's Day celebration, and at that point we'll reach out and ask the public to get involved, looking at picking a day, choosing a charity, and supporting an event. So we'll bring on dozens and dozens of charities throughout the month of April, family-oriented event and the rest. So recently we were approached on doing an event for Father's Day. So we're talking about Children's Day and Father's Day. There's a lot of events for Mother's Day, but very few events for Father's Day. So we were greatly excited to get on board with this. The festival is coming up on June 18th. It will be in Coronado Island. It's one of the few festivals for Father's Day. If you look out through the media, it's already June, and our holiday in June is Father's Day, but you won't see very many articles on dads. So the festival has a two-part nature. There will be festival with booths and food and kid zones, and our side will be doing the charity walk, which is a walk for dad. Now, we've walked for many causes and many reasons, but rarely have we ever walked for our fathers. And so in most people's lives, their dads play an important role, and we need, during the Father's Day season, and on Father's Day to give back to our dads and to tell them how important they are to us. There are a lot of good dads that are single parents that are struggling, that need awareness, and also to thank the dads that are serving away in the military. They're gone, and it's a sacrifice for the families and the children to have their dads being away. So it's an opportunity. So we're asking people to take a moment and come out on June 18th, which is a Saturday before the festival, before the Father's Day, and come out and walk for Dad and thank him for all the things that have been a part of our life. So it's a great event. It's also a fundraiser for the San Diego Children's Coalition. We have 3 parts for the walk. It will be our partner charities that are coming on board. We have a lot of partners that are helping, especially the Key Clubs, which is the younger version of the Kiwanis. We have hundreds of kids that will be coming out and working together, benefiting them, and also we'll be looking at supporting struggling dads with the remainder of the money that we raise at the walkathon.
Well, I'm John Roberts with coffeewithacause.org, and I met up with Jeff a couple years ago, and we teamed up for Children's Coalition. And what's great about the program, we're especially in the schools today, they're cutting back all the art programs, and what we want to do is keep the passion and ignite the passion of the arts in the youth today, so we have it continue on years to come. So that's one of the big directions that we're taking. But the Father's Day Walk is a fabulous event that we want to launch in San Diego and go coast to coast. But the walk is there to honor dads that are in the military, active here in San Diego, and active overseas. And what we want to do is also help the fathers that are in need. We're looking for people to walk for their dads and with their dads, and we're looking for people to sponsor walkers. In the this event, Gloria Bay is beautiful. You're overlooking downtown. There's going to be a fabulous, fun kids zone. There's going to be a lot of clowns there for the kids. There's going to be face painting. We're going to have laser tag. So there's going to be a lot of fun events for all the kids. So looking forward to everybody coming out.
I'm Carolyn Bell, and I just came on board with the San Diego Children's Coalition, and I've been in fundraising for 14 years for many causes, and very excited for this program. And I do think the Father's Day Festival is very important in the walk, because I'm a single mom and there's a lot of things out there for me, and I can get a lot of support from a lot of the communities, but I do know a lot of single dads that are struggling and they don't have support and they don't know where to ask for support. So we're really trying to just promote the awareness of there are programs out here, like the Men's Center, and there's a lot of other ones that we're discovering that are really out there for the dads. And if they came out, they can talk to each other as well and support each other. So we hope the single dads come with their children, single moms, married people. We want just anybody in the community to come and join us for this absolutely beautiful day down in Coronado.
So it's going to be a fun event. It will be on the Saturday before Father's Day on June 18th. We'll start at 8 o'clock for the registration for the walk. The walk will actually begin at 9 o'clock and go till 10, but you're more than welcome to come out anytime during the festival and sign up and take the walk. The walk will be along the beautiful picturesque view of Glorieta Bay. It's actually beautiful. It's not like a marathon. It's under 2 miles, so it's not a major walk for most people, but it will be a beautiful event. It's a symbolic event, because to come out and walk for Dad and thank our dads. So as a part of the community of the County of San Diego, it will show support for fathers and a way of giving back. The walk will also support the launch of the San Diego Children's Coalition. As I mentioned before, it will be the Chamber of Commerce for children's organizations. As a young charity, we're right now working to gain support for the organization and funding for us so that we can go on board. But once we're operational, we'll turn it around and begin helping hundreds and hundreds of charities, children's organizations, and the rest. We will have mixers coming up We started them before. We did them at the 94th Aero Squadron. Our first ever event had over 80 charities there. And so for people who are interested in coming out and finding out how they can get involved in charitable work and helping kids, these mixers will provide a great opportunity. Some of the programs that we'll be working on as an organization, I don't have a lot of time myself to promote hundreds of charities, but we have a lot of kids and they're very dynamic. They've got a lot of energy, and we want to bring these kids on board. So one of the programs we're looking at is a photojournalism program where we work with middle schools, high schools, and colleges and create a youth magazine. LA has it. We'll be doing one down here, and then creating internship programs to bring kids in to become true photographers and reporters. And so instead of the regular news media show up, a whole bunch of kids with real press credentials, and they're the ones that will go out and interview and promote awareness of children's events. A lot of people aren't aware that there are a lot of fun events to do in the charity world. I think probably 80% of the public maybe has heard of charities, but they don't know how to get involved or what they're like. And it's really exciting. And a part of the job of the Children's Coalition will be the bridge between the people that normally don't get involved and then on the charity side. So we'll be setting up programs to work to get more people involved to create awareness. So
Jeff, what's the website address?
the website is a very easy name. We have a theme. It's the SanDiegoChildren.org. So that will be our portal. On that portal we'll have hundreds of charities, their events, the events that we're doing, ways of signing up, ways of donating. On the SanDiegoChildren.org/Father's Day, you'll find the information about the Father's Day event and also a sign up. There's 3 ways to get involved. You can sign up to walk yourself, which we would encourage. Love to come out and walk for Dad. The second way is you can sponsor a walker, either a child or a family. Our price breakdown is $35 for a family of 4, $20 for an adult. The kids are free, and we're looking for sponsors to sponsor families and single individuals. The third way is to become an event sponsor. We're getting close to the end of that. I think by Monday we'll close the door, but we have banners if you have a business and would like to get involved. We have t-shirts, and it's all on the website. The price breakdown is very affordable to get involved with the festival. So,
All right, John, Carolyn, anything else on the festival? There you go. I really hope that whoever sees this can join us. I think it's going to be a great day. The National Coalition for Men will have a booth there. In fact, we'll be handing out, perhaps for a small fee, wristbands which say Men and Fathers Matter on one side, and on the other side, Save the Males. And coincidentally, it has our web address there, which is ncfm.org, which I hope everybody goes to. That said, I can't think of anything else. I want to thank Walter Davis for coming in and setting this up for us, going out of his way. Walter also happens to be a member of the National Coalition for Men, as is Jeff Perwin. I'm still working on John. I'm going to start on Carolyn next. Anything for membership, guys. But whoever's watching, thank you very, very much. And again, I hope you can join us. One thing I'd like to mention too is Walter will be, hopefully Walter will be at our booth on the day of the event, June 18th, and be interviewing people. He'll have his internet system hooked up here, and you might even be able to find yourself live on the internet from the festival.
a couple other things we didn't mention. There will be some fun events for dads. They're proposing a dad contest, the best dad contest, and also they'll have a barbecue cook-off, and a hot dog eating contest. So it'll be a lot of good food.
We forgot everything for dads.
Yeah, all the stuff for dads.
That was your job.
And that's the way it usually goes. This should be interesting since Carolyn did,
I'm new here.
So why are you here? What attracted you to become part of the Men's Coalition, being a lady?
Well, I do support. I have my brother is a single dad and has struggled a lot, and I watched what the courts did and what he had to do to prove himself a worthy father. And there are not a lot of rights for men and there's a lot more for women, and I think it's lopsided and needs to be a little bit more equal.
You know, the thing about the National Coalition for Men too, I get it all the time, you know, what are you guys, a bunch of woman haters? No, we're not woman haters. I like women.
I'll tell you later.
Some things we're not sharing right now. But the National Coalition for Men has been around since 1977. I think I'm the 4th or 5th president. Tom Williamson was our early president, started the organization. Upstate New York, was president for over 20 years, did an excellent, wonderful job. In all those years, the organization has done, I don't even know, so many things I can't even recount them all. You know, we now have liaisons in several countries. I'm hoping to have a new liaison in Chile. I met a lady in Washington, D.C. last week who's interested in doing that. She's a civil rights lawyer. You know, we now have a very active liaison in the Democratic Republic of Georgia. He's hoping to open a chapter in Russia. You know, we have activists in India. Matter of fact, some of you who may be listening to this might remember an organization called Children's Rights Initiative for Sharing Parents Equally. We had the big purple 42-foot bus and took around the country twice. Larry Kirkman started that organization. He was Crispy 1, his son's Crispy 1.5, I'm Crispy 2, and they started a Crispy in India. And the people in India went out and bought a little caravan, known over here as a trailer, and used the same colors, painted it purple, white, put slogans on it for shared parenting and how important fathers were, and they're starting to drive it all over India. The National Coalition for Men in this office serves purposes like that and helps others throughout, not just the nation, but the world, better understand issues related to men and families and help them in their own mission to educate others. Our mission is quite simple. We exist for the elimination of harmful gender-based stereotypes, particularly as they adversely impact men, their children, their families, and the women that love them. That's 98% of us. We're a true civil rights organization. And we have a lot of great things in the works. We're working on a number of projects, and I hope we continue to do that for decades to come because there's a lot of work to do. And so for those of you who are listening to this and are not a member of the National Coalition for Men, you can go to our website, ncfm.org. We post articles there regularly. There's an interesting discussion going on right now over circumcision. One of the nation's leading anti-circumcision advocates runs a cartoon strip called it's a Cape Crusader called Super Foreskin, and that's causing quite a controversy. Matter of fact, we just got some articles around the newspaper about it yesterday. You might want to take a look at that. You can also join online. But I'm here today primarily to talk about Father's Day, fathers, and getting as many people as possible to come out to our event on Coronado. Thank you.
Now, you're talking about the Men's Coalition being a civil rights organization.
Yes.
So in your impression, men are being discriminated against.
No, there's no question about it.
And so how is that happening? Is it the court system? Is it the medical system? Is it support? I mean, I've heard people use the term glass ceiling for women, but glass floor for men.
Well, which one you want to talk about? We can talk about glass ceiling, the wages. You know, the media, whatever you read in the media, typically is still this. You know, women only make 78 cents for every dollar a man makes. Really? And by the way, now the federal numbers are 85%. You don't hear about that. If that were true, and I'm an employer, why would I hire men? You'd be stupid to, wouldn't you? Because you'd be giving away roughly 25% of your gross profit. You know, some things on their face are just idiotic, but people don't stop long enough to think through it. They just believe it because it comes from the media. Warren Farrell, who was one of our advisors and founding members, the best-selling author, his first book was The Liberated Man. Mr. Farrell was the first man to be chosen to serve on the board of directors of the National Organization of Women New York, which is a huge organization. He's now written 5 books. His last one was Why Men Earn More and What Can Women Do About It? In that book, you know, the title should have been just the opposite, but his publisher wouldn't buy that and didn't think they could sell any books. But the whole book is basically really well done. It talks about disparate wages between genders, and what one finds after all the research And now there's more and more research coming out. You find in most national newspapers, particularly New York Times right now, where in fact women actually earn more than men. And they have more leisure time. They have the ability to enter the workforce, leave the workforce, whenever they want, primarily because they have a right to choose whether to be a mother, a stay-at-home mom, whereas men don't have that quite the same choice. They don't have the same support systems out there. Whether you're talking food stamps, welfare, it makes no difference. All those programs are set up for single mothers. Does that mean a single father can't access those programs? No, it doesn't mean that. It does mean it's more difficult for them to do that. One of the institutionalizations that is a large culprit of contempt, or the most recent forms of discrimination against men, is the Violence Against Women Act, which is pumps about $1 billion a year into the economy to sustain things like abuse shelters, primarily for women. There aren't many for men. Support programs for abused women. They say always abused women and children, which is kind of interesting because most shelters don't take boys over the age of 12. You know, but that piece of legislation, coupled with a few more things, including the Victim Compensation Fund and the Title IV-D at the federal level, pumps massive amounts of money into the economy to create jobs, which are, generally speaking, designed to, well, get men's money, keep them depressed, suppressed. The family court system, for example, most people in the family court system are pro per. They represent themselves. They can't afford an attorney. They can't afford $2,500 just for an attorney to show up for 5 minutes and ask for a continuance because they're unprepared. 85% of, roughly 85%, there's a lot of debate over the number, but let's just say it's a large amount. The lion's share of child custody in the United States and throughout the civilized world is awarded to the mother, generally against the wishes of the father. Not always. There are fathers who walk away from that responsibility, as there are mothers. But one false accusation is enough to bring that parent back to court over and over and over again. It's enough to criminalize somebody who has otherwise never been arrested, never done anything wrong, has always been a productive member of the family, always been a productive member of the system, always paid taxes, always contributed, but all that has to happen is somebody has to say domestic violence, child abuse, sexual assault, no evidence whatsoever, and that other person's life is destroyed, and that other person is typically a man. I just got back from a false accusations summit in Washington, D.C., which was sponsored by a wonderful organization called SAY, which is Stop Abuse in Violent Environments, run by Mr. Edward Bartlett out of Virginia. And at the summit we had a number of organizations who talked about false accusations and the serious consequences they present for our society. In fact, one of the men that I worked with on mediation prep was found dead in the desert 2 weeks ago with a bullet in his head. There's some question as to whether or not it was murder or suicide. But what is clear is it's this court system that killed him. It's the court system that drained him of all his energy. It's the court system that drained him of all his money. It's the court system that denied him his children. It's the court system that did not hold the mother accountable for her false accusations. And it's the court system that did not hold the mother accountable for frustrating all the custody orders that the children be shared with the father. Where did you want me to stop, Walter? I mean, talk about discrimination against men. I can go on for a week.
I understand. Well, that's all very helpful information. I don't think that most people are in a frame of mind to take action. I think most people know that the court system discriminates against men. But people don't know things like you can't get help at various community medical centers.
That's correct.
For example, as a veteran, I'm 100% disabled. And they stopped my dental insurance when my military dental insurance was stopped. And I had a toothache. And so I continued to go to my dentist only to find out that my dental insurance had been canceled. They automatically cancel your military insurance if you get rated 100%. But no one told me. So I'm getting these root canals done, and my mouth is hurting. So I go to a community clinic saying, look, I'm in a great deal of pain. Can I get some help? And they told me, no, we don't help men.
Most of the money is for women and children, not for men. And you brought up the military. That's very, very interesting. We've had a couple of recent cases. We're helping another organization here. It's called Honoring Our Troops, or HOT. And HOT will be at the Father's Day event as well with a booth. And it's a great organization. It's a startup organization. They've already provided some services for holistic health services for amputees coming back from the recent wars. We're starting to do a mentoring program to help returning vets reintegrate back into the society in terms of employment, stabilizing other ways. They run a free legal clinic once a month at one of the VFWs in San Diego, where they help veterans with all issues of homelessness and domestic violence and child support, you name it. We try to help in that regard. And a couple times a year we're going to be doing about 150 care packages that we'll send overseas to troops. We're in the process of doing that now. And the people who are the principals in that organization, several of them are in fact veterans. And so I've talked to some of these other individuals that they've been working with, and learned a few things I didn't know recently. For example, if you get a general discharge or less, apparently you're denied a lot of the services that other veterans would be afforded, including you lose things like no down payment program for a house. Some of the medical benefits are associated with being a veteran, as well as some of the educational benefits associated with being a veteran. Now, some people might think on the face, well, that seems correct. You know, if you screw up, you should lose the benefits. But what if you didn't screw up? What if you were sitting in a foxhole over Afghanistan in the middle of a friggin' desert when your wife decided to have an affair with somebody and falsely accuse you of something like domestic violence, or some woman that you don't know mistakenly or intentionally claims you're the father of a child you've never seen with a woman you've never had sex with, and you can't do anything about it because you're sitting in a foxhole over in Afghanistan. The system just moves forward and starts to destroy you in the process, and it might make you angry. And in the process, something might happen where you're actually charged with some offense that you did or didn't commit. But somebody else, if you did, made you angry. You're the one that pays the price. The story I like to tell the most, and I have to be a little careful here, but I just went to an awards ceremony earlier this week where one of my guys, a friend of mine, was finally being promoted to a very high rank and getting a command that he should have had 2 years ago. He'd been to 6 wars, was highly decorated, been responsible for thousands of troops, millions if not billions of dollars worth of equipment. And he's a military graduate, academy graduate, went on to get a master's degree, graduated from War College. We've spent millions of dollars to train him, millions of dollars to support him and his family, and his wife decides to have an affair. And to avoid responsibility, she claims spousal rape. For all practical purposes, if he wasn't of the rank he was, his career would have been over. He would have immediately lost his security clearance, a restraining order issued, civil charges were filed, and it was found out later that she and her lover had conspired to charge. So he was, our guy, our hero, was brought back into the military, as he should have been. I mean, he hadn't been discharged, he's been given desk duty. He was given a command, not the command he was supposed to have. The lover of the woman was also in the military. I'm trying to be careful. Also in the military, and he was a career, and he was asked to leave early, retire early, which he could do. He was demoted in rank and fined $1,500. So we have this academy graduate whose long-term career, this hero, his career in life was almost destroyed, and another military man who was involved in the affair, his career was ended, and nothing happened to the woman. She actually was awarded 50% custody of the kids, got most of personal property, the house, and half his retirement. No sanction. No sanction. You know, that happens to our military people all the time. And it's the people we elect, the people we send to Washington, D.C., the people we have faith in that create the laws that develop these scenarios. And it's just, if you think through it, it's absolutely ludicrous. I mean, it's just totally ludicrous that we've invested all this time in this wonderful person, supported him and his family. He's done nothing but put his life at risk for us time after time after time after time. And our system allows that military individual's life to be almost destroyed, not by a bullet in the brain in Afghanistan or Iraq, not because a bomb drops on him. Well, the bomb did drop on him because a false accusation was made by a pissed off woman who was afraid to admit what she had done wrong. I can't even get that in perspective. I mean, it doesn't even balance. You know, you have to look at our society and say, how can we be so stupid? And those situations can be humiliated, and all you have to do is hold that person responsible. If you hold the person who lies responsible for their own action, and you bring in people like you with your TV cameras and your radio shows, and you say, this is what she looks like, be aware, because she's free, you know, be careful, we need to hold these people accountable. But I've talked to the presiding judge of San Diego Family Court less than a month ago in a public meeting where she affirmed what she's told me in chambers, that everybody lies in family court, which is not true, and we don't have enough resources to prosecute everybody who makes a false allegation. Well, that's asinine. And the reason it's asinine is because if we prosecute a few false accusations, accusers, and made that known publicly that we were going to hold these people accountable, doesn't it follow that maybe some people will shut up and not lie? It makes sense to me, but that's too easy. That doesn't create jobs. That doesn't feed the court system. That doesn't feed the district attorney. That doesn't feed the city attorney. That doesn't feed our politicians. Those people, those sharks, those people need blood. And the only way they can get blood to feed themselves is to pass legislation, keep passing laws, keep making court decisions that are nowhere near in the best interest of anybody except themselves. I think the whole thing is disgusting. And all those individuals, typically, generally speaking, use men as a doormat. We make most of the money, but we don't spend it. Women now are estimated to control at least 2/3 of the wealth in the United States. By the year 2020, perhaps control all of it. The primary ways women accumulate wealth: through divorce, inheritance. Number 5 is crook, C-R-O-O-K, end quote. However you want to define that. Attorney fraud, whatever you want to say. It's not through business creation, job creation. Those are like 3 and 4 in the list of 5. Whole different sort of thing. We don't take a look at those. We don't extend those to see what the consequences are to us and our society over time. And I think it's a shame. You know, politicians are fearful of upsetting anybody. They don't want to talk about. We have one men's organization based in Washington, D.C. that does very, very good work, but they, in no way would they be a party to anything like I'm discussing now. The reason is because I'd say they hide behind skirts. They want to, they're empire builders. They, like everybody else, they want to do good, and the only way they think they can do good is to get federal money, federal grants, and to do that they have to lie. They have to say they're somebody that they aren't. They have to disassociate themselves from being a man. The National Coalition for Men doesn't do this.
Well, there's a lot of injustice, and I don't think people are aware of the scope. One of the important things that you just said was about how there's a difference in the way that women can get leisure time. So, for example, some of our Navy ships out here where women are getting pregnant, they can get pregnant
right.
not to go to war.
That's correct. Then they get shore duty.
And so many of them do not want to go to war. Many men don't want to go to war.
That's correct.
I made 11 combat cruises. And so what happens is, these young ladies, it's very convenient for them to get pregnant. And I've had them tell me, I don't want to go on the deployment, so I'm going to get pregnant. And they do. And then they get put on shore duty. But the problem is that that ship goes to sea without somebody to take that woman's place. And I had to wait up to 6 months for a replacement to come. Guess how long the cruises are? That's 6 months.
6 months.
So by the time we got back, then we got a replacement, and then sometimes they arrive pregnant because they got pregnant in boot camp or in
Right.
the school.
Yeah.
So I had to wait another 6 months. So the bottom line was, the last time I went to the Persian Gulf, I was short 5 people.
That's huge.
5 people out of a division of 21 people. I was shipping officer, piloting officer, watch officer, radar operator, all at the same time by myself. Now, those other people that I had, some of them, they were bodies, but they didn't know anything. They were apprentices. They didn't know how to operate a radar. They didn't know what an attenuator was. They didn't know how to adjust the radar. They didn't know how to navigate. So even though I had those extra bodies. So it is affecting our national readiness. It is very unfair, a lot of things that are happening. Having said that, I don't want to diminish the fact that there's been a lot of horrible men out here. There's been a lot of horrible things that happen to women. There's a lot of horrible things happening to all of us.
That's correct.
But the bottom line is that the court system is not about justice. It's about just us.
That's correct. That's correct.
And
Just
so
us without a penis.
it's really a tragedy. Now, I'm wondering, are you working with the National Coalition for Families and Children?
National Coalition
Dr.
Yes,
Iman
yes.
Tadros?
When Dr. Tadros, very interesting guy. I admire what he's done greatly. And we have helped in his pursuit of justice to the extent of actually filing and participating in amicus briefs on some of his appellate cases. So from that standpoint, we have supported Mr. Tadros. The organization is not, I wouldn't say that we're affiliated with him beyond that. But we do those things for other organizations on a fairly routine basis. We're fortunate that we have members throughout North America in several countries, and we have high-profile members. We have members with very high skill sets, including a number of attorneys who volunteer a great deal of their time. I want to return one more time back to the military, though, on the other end of that spectrum. The spectrum, not the boat leaving the dock short-handed, but selective service. Men are required to sign up for selective service by the age of 18. If they didn't do that, they could be imprisoned, fined $250,000, and denied all sorts of benefits, including financial aid to go to college. Women are under no such obligation. They're not even required to sign up for the Peace Corps. How we allow that is absolutely beyond me. I mean, that injustice is so blatant. And in a country that's supposed to pride itself on fairness and justice, we don't even, just from a societal standpoint, we don't even see that as a problem. But interesting, one of the military guys I worked with came to me and made an interesting point that he was working for a female major who had no such obligation to sign up for selective service, and truly she was there more by choice than he was. Not that he was drafted, I mean, it was his choice to join too, but she didn't have this onerous thing called selective service hanging over her head, nor does she have it when she leaves. So there's all sorts of those sort of inequities. Now, right now you start listening to the news media, and what you're hearing is that what was I reading not too long ago? Somebody made a comparison, creating some large problem about something, I can't remember what it was, and used female deaths in Iraq as the comparison, as if there were a lot of them, and there aren't. Like in the Vietnam War, 52,000 men died, 8 women, American military people. 8. I mean, you can't even put that in the same, it's just ridiculous. And then to hear people come out and talk about the need for programs for female veterans at the expense of programs for male veterans, who are the ones missing legs and arms, lost their families, and we bury, is to me just ridiculous. It's extraordinary. It's like protecting the woman who made the false accusation against our academy graduate, where she walks, or is rewarded. I mean, rewarded for her illicit act and bad behavior and false accusation. I mean, it's the most incredulous, just stupid. I mean, I can't, how any rational person can support something like this, just absolutely beyond me.
And those are all very important points. And one of the other things is that taxpayers are being affected with paying this. Can you talk about that? How are taxpayers being affected by the unfair judgments of the court system?
Well, that's an interesting question.
Well, what I understand is that they're matching funds that come from Social Security, and then when the judges take...
I would come up from it for this perspective, though. For example, I spent most of the morning in court yesterday with one of my guys. And it's pretty interesting because there was one case there having to do with whether or not the court was going to allow paternity tests to be given. Because throughout the United States, generally speaking, if you're married and the child's born of the marriage, there's a presumption that the man is the father, whether he is or he isn't. And even if you're not married, most states will stick you with paternity, whether you have a relationship with the children or you don't have a relationship with the children. In this case, this has been going on for about 3 years. I don't know how many hearings. It's still over whether on 2 issues, whether or not the court system is going to appoint county counsel to help this man get what earlier judges ordered, which was for him to have a DNA test, because state law said if you weren't living with the woman at the time of conception, that's one of the reasons it might get you out of paternity if the children aren't yours. The system's been fighting that, and I'm talking taxpayers. So every time there's a hearing on this issue, they're paying a judge, a stenographer, a court clerk, a bailiff. There's one other person in the courtroom, I can't remember what the job title. Maybe a couple attorneys for the people on the other side of the bar. Everything associated with that, administrative overhead, blah, blah, blah. And what happened yesterday was the hearing was continued. And the guy said, wouldn't it be easier if I just took the DNA test? And the response was, well, we have to do things in a certain order. Okay. So the court system is, it's a traditional institution that's hung up on a protocol, procedure. From a taxpayer's position, it's absurd, because what you see so often, particularly in the family court, is one continuance after another, after another, after another, after another, after another, leading nowhere. I've seen situations that have gone for years, year after year after year after year after year, and by the time it finally gets to time to make a judgment day, the decision is inconsequential. That's pretty much what it was when it started. The taxpayer pays for all that, pays for all of it. It's a huge waste, a huge waste. There's Department of Child Support Services, questions asked, what happens, no one ever asked the question, what happens with money collected from, or attempted to be collected from dead people? Let you think through that one. Or what happens when money comes in paid by the state from a dead person when there's no children to give it to, or all these children are adult. The children who the money's being collected to pay child support for, the arrearages, are now 60 years old. Where does the money go? Does it go back to the children? Do they get it? Does it come back to the taxpayer? Where does it go? Well, they won't tell you. It just kind of disappears into a dark hole. That's taxpayer money. There's examples like that everywhere. There's just simply too many of them to discuss. I think perhaps, though, you guys look like you're ready to go, right? We need to do more work on Father's Day thing.
Probably do, yeah.
Maybe we can do some more of this later, Walter, if you'd like to. But
Yeah, well, I'd like for you to talk some more about the Father's Day now, if
okay.
you can, the rest of you in particular.
Okay.
Actually, did you talk to the lady who was doing the walkathon?
I did a little bit, and so
Give us an update on that.
the update is there will be a registration table, so if people want to come down and register and donate at that time, they can, so they don't have to do it on the website. And we'll have little stations along the walk, you know, with some water and etc. And we'll have a banner and our t-shirts for sale as well. And it's very casual. This is just something that we really want people to come out and support their dads. And you know, if you're supporting your dad or your grandfather or any dads, it's just something that people don't do very often. Actually, we were at a function the other day, I can't remember who said it, but they said Father's Day is the highest rate of collect calls. Because
right.
everybody wants
That's
to
right.
get something from their father instead of give to their father, so we're
That's
kind of
right.
trying to give back a little bit. So,
Back to the wallet, back to the
that's
envelope.
right.
Well, we're optimistic that it's gonna be a great day, like I say, with this, it's a kickoff event. And a lot of people working on it, a lot of good ideas. We're just an itty bitty sponsor, but we're at National Coalition for Men, but we're trying to do our part. And I'm hopeful that it goes well, so next year it'll be twice as good as it was this year, and the year after that it's twice as good as that one. And hopefully it will spread across the country, and we'll have large Father's Day events all kind of hooked together. That would be, I hope I'm alive to see that happen. But I know we need to do something to start celebrating fathers, because most fathers are good fathers, and we need to take more pride in that.
Okay, can you go ahead and state the date and time for those watching right now?
Jeff, you want to do that?
It will be Saturday, June 18th, is the day before Father's Day, because sometimes people are getting confused because the name of the festival is Father's Day Festival. So it's not actually on Father's Day, it's the day before. So if you have a lot of events that are going on Father's Day, this is the day before, so we'd love to see you come out. It's going to be a great event, and give some moment to think about the great things that all of our fathers have done for us, and show that by coming out and walking for our fathers on that day.
Okay, and that's where's it gonna occur? The location?
It's the locations on Coronado Island. It's the Tidelands Park, which is as you come across on the bridge. As soon as you land on Coronado, you see a park on the right. The boundary is the Marriott on the other side, so it's in that range. So it'll be right on the bay, right at the foot of the bridge of Coronado.
So you make that first right as soon
Yeah,
as
as you come
across.
down, you cross the bridge and then stay to the right. There's a small little road that exits off of the street, and then you make the first right again that goes right into the park.
And then what time do people need to be there to register for the walkathon?
The walkathon will start registering at 8 o'clock. We'll have official grand opening ceremonies at 9. And so the official walk time will go from 9 till around 10. That's where we're asking people to come out to make large masses and you know, support for Dad, for the media and the rest. So the official time between 9 and 10 is opening at 8. But you know, if you can't make that time, we'll be there at the festival till 5. So you know, come on out anyway. So if you're coming out at 12 or 3 o'clock, you can still participate and do the walk and help the charities and our partner charities.
Now the walk will take place where?
It will begin at the park, Tidelands Park, and it will follow around the park, and then it will pick up and follow the little pathway that they have that goes along Glorietta Bay, and it goes all the way down to almost where the pier is, where there's a little like shopping center down at the end of Orange Avenue over in that section. So then you'll turn around and then come back along the bay and end up back at the park again.
That's the pier with a water taxi, the ferry.
Yeah, the ferry. So it doesn't quite go into that section because that's a little shopping center, but just before you reach there, you'll make a little turnaround and come back.
And what kind of things are going to happen at the festival?
Well, there'll be a lot of different things. We'll have over about 100 booths. There'll be food vendors. There's all types of different, like a normal festival, you'll have crafts, and we're working on getting kids organizations out. I think we have a few of them coming out. We have a kids zone, which will be fun. We had mentioned about the laser tag, and they'll probably have one of those. They're working on getting one of those inflatable type kids where they play in it.
Jumper.
jumpers. We'll have a lot of contests. They have a barbecue cook-off. There's that I know of, there's a barbecue company on Coronado that's participating. I think they were working on maybe 9 different cook-offs, so there'll be a huge barbecue eating contest, so the food should be delicious. There'll also be a hot dog eating contest. Now we're looking at having, because we're going to have a lot of kids coming in from the key clubs, volleyball there, so there'll be sporting events, so if you want to come out and play. It's just going to be a great day in a park, which we normally do, and so there'll be a lot of events instead of just going to a park and just barbecuing by yourself. You know, we'll have the festival and contests and the walk, you know, and there'll be a lot of people there. It'll be a great event. And Coronado's a beautiful location to have a Father's Day event. So we encourage everybody to come out. It's gonna be fun.
So we're encouraging people to bring their fathers, right, and to come with their fathers, but also people who don't have
That's correct.
fathers. Maybe they, you know, they're fathers who are not with their kids.
Yeah,
Maybe there's some connections like that.
Yeah, the theme is come either walk with your dad or walk for your dad. You know, this is the thing in research, and we just had the Rock and Roll Marathon, which is walking for, I believe, the Leukemia Society. So there are a lot of walks that go on, and they support great causes. This one is to walk for dad. I mean, you know, in the family unit, you have mom, dad, and kids. I mean, that's the core of American and the world society is the family. So dad is important. So why don't we walk for dad? Go out, at least show our support. Now the walk benefits. So not only are we walking for dad, but it benefits. We have charity partners. The Children's Coalition's purpose is to support, and we didn't get into it as much, hundreds of charities to bring awareness to them, and they're great causes. We've got charities that we'll be working with, and medical and burn victims, and you know, Rady's Hospital, and all the rest of those organizations that need to get their word out. In the coalition, as the Chamber of Commerce, in a sense, of children's organizations, will be fighting on their behalf, creating fundraising events that they can participate in, and this is one of them, the Father's Day. So we have partners that will be coming in to do the walk with us, and they will earn, or not earn, but receive a part of the donations that a part of that day. The Children's Coalition is a brand new organization, so we're struggling ourselves as a young charity to raise the money that we need to get our offices. We want to bring in young kids from colleges as internships. Many of the programs at schools require these kids to go out in industry and spend time, and instead of going down to the local fence company and working there, why don't we come in and work at the Children's Coalition and use their talents to benefit charities. I mean, they need help with graphic arts and event planners, and you know, getting the word out, and volunteerism, and all the rest. So that's what we're working to set up as the Children's Coalition, and so a percentage of the funds of the walk will come to help us, you know, get established. And then the third portion of the money will go to help struggling dads. So we're identifying right now, we have a few that we'll be working with. So we have a lot of businesses coming on board to give, you know, things for dads. So not only will we be able to raise money to help them, but we're also raising additional types of items that will help fathers. So it's just the first annual Father's Day Festival. You know, there's not a lot of things for fathers. As I've gotten in to the event and researching, and we're going out in the communities and reading in newspapers, a lot of times they forget that this is Father's Month, and you know, write articles on them. So, and to me, my dad's far away. I sent him the information that we're doing a Father's Day Festival, and it makes me pause and think about all the things that my dad has done. He's getting older now, and he may not be around for very long. So that's the whole thing of what's the purpose of Father's Day, is to take a pause and remember those things, because we get so busy in our lives that we forget to do that. And so the festival itself is a festival. We have thousands of festivals, but this one is about dads. And it's time to take that pause and reflect. And so the idea of going out for a walk for dad, it's a walk, I mean, but it's the token that we're going out and thanking our dad. And it's a society, you know, that we do that, you know, as a community, as a city, as a county, that we have a Father's Day event, and this is really nice for dads. And the thing is, we have, you know, good dads that are in families, we have good dads that are struggling as single parents, we've got good dads who are serving away in the military, and that's, I'm learning myself, that, you know, these families struggle. On Father's Day, their dads are serving overseas, their kids are missing their dads, they've been gone. So the festival, to bring awareness of the good things dads have done, you know, the good things that struggling dads are doing, and the good things that dads are doing to protect our military. So I'm excited to be a part of the festival and to be involved with it, and to have the Children's Coalition to help spearhead this event. We'll have a lot of good events coming up in the future. The one thing beyond this is we have Mother, Father, but we don't celebrate Children's Day. It's a very popular day around the world. So next year, the coalition will get involved with the launch of a huge event for children, and also how they portray. A lot of people say that every day is Children's Day. It kind of is, but as a society, we should honor those children and families. So next year, we're looking at the month of April being Children's Day celebration. So an entire month long, we'll be encouraging family organizations to put on family events, charities to come on board and throw events, and then what we'll do is huge promotion throughout the county of San Diego to bring awareness of children's organizations and nonprofits and the rest. And we'll, as I mentioned before, ask the public to pick a day, choose a charity, and support one of the events. So it will create a huge excitement related to families and children. So we're beginning with Father's Day. We're looking at going with the festival partner, going nationwide to do Father's Days throughout the United States. And this is kind of a launching point here in San Diego. So we're hoping to have a good turnout, a good event, great walk, and have a great time.
Okay, so do you have something to say at all?
Said it all.
You said it all. Everybody said it all. Okay.
I think we got it covered, Walter.
You got everything covered. All right, that's wonderful.
Thank you.
I will be out there with my equipment, and if anybody wants to talk to their father, or you know, have their father call in, they can call into the radio show.
That'd be great.
And so if people in the military, if they're in the Middle East or whatever, they'll be able to call in. They can call in by Skype, or go to my main website, walterdavisenterprises.com. And the internet television broadcasts are two-way as well. There is a way that they can call in using a camera, but that's a lot more sophisticated. They would have to call me and set that up ahead of time. But the radio broadcast, in terms of voice going back and forth, is possible. I can support up to 50 people at a time and 5,000 downloads. So 5,000 listeners can be on my radio show with 50 people calling in at one time.
That's fabulous.
And I support up to 100,000 people on my internet broadcast, television broadcast.
Now you're going to be with us at the NCFM booth, correct?
Right, and you can just tell me what time is best. I only have 2 hours of radio time per day.
Fair enough.
So the best 2 hours, you know, I suppose will be in the afternoon.
We'll work that out and get some. What would be preferable to you?
It doesn't matter. I'm here to help you.
Can you split the hours?
No.
Okay.
It's 2 straight hours.
So I just wanted to mention again, to find out more information, you can find on our website, which is easy to remember. It's San Diego Children, no S at the end, San Diego Children.org. We have a shorter version, which is sdchildren.com, but it's easy to remember, San Diego Children. So I'd love to have you come and check out the website and also the Father's Day event, and then the 3 ways to sign up to walk, either sponsor a walk or become one of our event sponsors, or the super easy way, just donate to the coalition. So we appreciate just any donations to help us out.
And speaking of donations, at the top left of the screen, there is an icon. You can click on that. It takes you into the donation page for the National Coalition for Men. And there's also a link at the right that will just take you into the main website for National Coalition for Men. So those of you watching internet television, just be aware that there are links built in to the broadcast to take you straight into the donation page. And we will be working out a schedule in terms of the broadcast for radio and television at the walkathon.
That's great.
Maybe we can split it up, you know, to where we do television in the beginning, and then towards the end or middle we do the radio part, depending upon the turnout. I can't schedule the show, however, you know, until it's hard. Once I schedule it, it's hard. You see, it's in. So I'll wait until I'm at the event before I actually schedule the radio show.
Okay.
Just to make people aware that we're going to be up, and they can call me, and you know, I'll be up on Twitter, things like that. They can tweet me, or you know, come to Facebook, something like that, and let me know they want to talk to their father, and we'll just have to coordinate that part a little bit more effectively.
Good. Great idea.
Great, thanks.
And be aware that we have our own cable television shows with the Community Coalition. We have 4 cable TV shows now. We started production on our 4th TV show, and you guys are welcome to look at starting your own show. You could be on the air by the end of the year with your own cable TV show. And you can operate your own internet television and radio and cable show on a budget of about $100 a month. So just be aware of that. We do have a production tonight. It's going to be a Lee Smith Cooper show. Community Issues, a Tapestry of Concern. We will start broadcasting around 7:30 from Cox Communications in El Cajon. Those of you watching will be on internet television live. Elisa's show comes on every Sunday at 6 p.m. and my show, Progress in San Diego, comes on every Sunday at 5 p.m. and Laura Thompson's show, Community Artist Connection, comes on every Thursday night at 9:30 p.m. Consider the Possibilities with Coach Maryland will be starting possibly around the September time frame. We just started production on that 2 weeks ago, and we expect to have 10 shows on the air by the end of the year. And hopefully that'll be you guys. You only have to devote 1 day out of the month. You can do 3 shows in that one setting. Harry's been in my show before, so he knows how we do that. And we broadcast live, and I'll teach you guys everything. You know, from the beginning to the end in terms of how to do TV production. You're welcome to come to my productions and learn about. You need 6 people from the organization that are dedicated to make it happen.
To run the equipment, or
to run the equipment.
Everything.
I teach you everything: floor director, producer, director, sound engineering, character generator, camera operator, internet broadcast director. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. This is Walter Davis with the Citizens Internet Television Network, and please look forward to our upcoming broadcast later on this evening. Thank you very much for joining us.